So in a world that is fast running, sometimes you have to hit the pause button, not only to adjust to how things are moving, but just so you can give your mind space to breathe. That's what I'm doing right now. And that's the topic we want to have on our conversation list today. There's the Young Diplomats of Ghana podcast, and today we are talking about mental well-being. How important is it? What is it even? And why should we prioritize it as a people? And I'm so glad to be joined by a brilliant team. I'll allow them to introduce myself from my very immediate right.
Okay, so I'm Benedicta Fosu. I'm a medical doctor by profession with a special interest in health diplomacy.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel Delali Fayorsey. I'm a medical doctor as well and a member of the YDG Cohort 5. I'm also quite interested in diplomacy as well as policy making and development.
Hi, my name is Madlin Akua. I'm also part of YDG Cohort 5, and I am more interested in diplomacy in education, information technology, and ethical use of artificial intelligence. Thank you for having us.
I told you that we have a solid panel for you today. 2 doctors, and let me not go so much into that, but my name is Adwoa Tenkoramaa Domena. I'm going to be your host for today. So before we get into the conversation, if this video is coming to you, a lot has gone into the production, so just hit the subscribe button and give us a follow. You can also leave a comment. If you have any questions that you'd like answered for you, just leave it in the comment section, and perhaps in our next episode we can answer that for you. And give us a like and share with your friends and family. So Delali, let me begin with you. When we talk about mental well-being, what are we talking about?
Okay, so when we talk about mental well-being, first I would like to start off by saying that it is not just the absence of mental illnesses. So many of us may assume that we have mental illness just because we don't have any mental illness that has been diagnosed first of all. So when we talk of mental wellness, it has to do with us being able to cope with the stresses of life and live a meaningful life, and that has various aspects that we can take into consideration. So of course that means that we should be able to adapt to the various stresses of life.
What are the various stresses of life?
So there are unique things, so we can group them into ones that we can avoid and those that we can't avoid. Of course there are certain stresses that may come from work stress. There are stresses that may come from having relationships with other people, whether romantic or family relationships. There are stresses that may come from just trying to develop yourself in terms of your academic and your career aspect. So we need to understand mental illness in a broader perspective, that the fact that you don't have any mental illness or have not been diagnosed with mental illness does not mean that you have a good mental illness. It means that you should be able to cope with the stresses of life, physically, emotionally, socially. You should be able to thrive.
I'll come back to thriving, because it's very important that you do not only talk about what problems you can encounter as an individual, but the solutions to them as well. So let me come to you. What does self-care mean to you, and why should we prioritize this as a people?
And I really enjoy that you said breathing.
Yeah.
Taking a pause at life and trying to be there for yourself. It's not being selfish. It's about knowing that you've hit the limit and you can't go further. If you do, you will break. And it's about also making sure that you see the weaknesses that you have and trying to cope to make sure that you do not wear yourself out. Self-care goes beyond just wearing fancy clothes and just showing up in everyone's faces. It starts from the mind. The thoughts you think, how you speak to yourself, how people speak to you, and how it gets to you. It all starts from there before it even comes out outward.
So it starts from self-awareness, being aware of yourself, what you can take, what you can't take.
Exactly.
and all of that.
Being so self-conscious about all these things, it helps to make sure that you make certain boundaries known,
Right.
and know how to take good and proper self-care of yourself. So I think it all starts from inside. Yeah.
I'm going to come to what will happen if you do not take proper good care of yourself, but I want us to just dilute something.
Yes.
In our era, we have a lot of people preaching self-care, and for the want of a better expression, it may likely look like it's veering into self-isolation. How do you differentiate between trying to care for yourself mentally and isolating yourself, which in turn can even lead to other mental illness? Who will take that question from me? You have not spoken.
Okay. So, so with regards to what you just said, I haven't really come across that, seeing self-care as self-isolation.
You hear people say that, you see, prioritize yourself, it's you first, it's you.
Oh, okay.
So there are people who would literally say, I am an indoors person, and the conversation is shut. I am not going out. Even if in 3 months' time, in 3 months they don't go out, they don't go anywhere. They are just in their room, Netflix, you're talking, they're doing digital communication, and that's enough for them. Does that have any effect or?
Yes, then that wouldn't be self-care. That would be self-isolation.
No, but it's self-care because because I'm thinking that once I enjoy my space, I'm caring for my mind. How do you convince me otherwise?
Because so the thing is, truth when pulled to the extreme becomes false.
Okay.
And self-care basically means what? Attending to your physical, psychological, and mental needs. And a component of it involves face-to-face communication with your friends, your families, and the people that you think have some positive influence over your lives. And that involves maintaining healthy relationships. And so you deciding to shut everyone out, no, then that's wrong.
Self-care.
I think that's rather point to some mental unwellness or even maybe burnout. You may actually have to consider that as well, because in burnout, I know we are here to get to that topic.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll delve deeper.
But people who are burnt out most likely become withdrawn. They are depressed. They don't want any form of communication. Like, they become blunt. And so I think we have to look more into that.
I'll come back to you when I'm talking about burnouts. But Delali, I saw you were smiling at some point. Do you have anything to add to the how you can differentiate between self-care and self-isolation?
So I think Dr. Benedicta stressed on an important point, that when you try to overstretch the truth beyond a certain point, it becomes false. And the truth is, we have different mechanisms when it comes to self-care. It is true that some of us need to take a breather and take a step back from everyone else, just to enjoy our company or just to stay home for a while. So I mean, some will say we charge their social battery and all that. But it's a bit of a stretch when you look at it for extended periods. Because when you do that for extended periods, isolation for extended periods, as much as even a month, fits some diagnostic criteria for some mental illnesses.
Like what?
So we would have to. So it's not just that. I mean, we can't just use self-isolation as the criteria, but in combination with other things, might promote certain bad mental health outcomes. So there's always a balance between trying to take some time off for yourself, off work, off others, so that you can actually re-energize and to interact with people in a better space. Because let's not forget that mental wellness, as part of it, is to be productive. To be a productive member of the community. So,
but can you make allowances for introverts or people who are extremely indoors people? So I've heard the social battery term so many times. Like, people say that, I go out like 30 December. Somebody will say that, allow me to enjoy, because after this period, I'm not going out for the next 6 months. Can you pardon those people?
I mean, of course, you can say you are not going out, but in what context? Are you saying you are not going out to events?
Okay.
That's fine. But does it mean that during the next 6 months, you are going to say they are not interacting with any other person? then that becomes a problem, because as human as we are social beings. So therefore there has to be some form of communication, right? Even the slightest communication daily with everyone might help you in terms of your mental health. So we need that interaction.
And back to you, my model. So talk to me about how you as a person, you prioritize self-care. What are some of the tips that you have tried over the years which have worked and you think that people can also take on?
One, I love to journal. I love to journal a lot. So if you're a person who loves writing, just venting out the stresses of life, you had a bad day, you just don't really know what to do, I just take a pen and paper, just write, dear journal, this is how today went. Today was fantastic. I sat on this podcast, we discussed about mental health, and I feel so light about it. After that process, you have to also be intentional, not just writing and penning down anything, about how you really feel, because this is an antidote for you to you. So you point out that this is how someone spoke to me. I didn't like it at all. I think it would have better been communicated this way. You pen it down. And through that, I think it also helps to see some changes or some process or progress. If for the first week you get to see that, oh my God, out of the 7 days, 5 days, a lot of good things happened, then it wasn't such a bad week after all. Then you get to know that one wrong or 2 days that were so wrong didn't crowd the whole week, and that makes you feel like life isn't such a mess in the whole place. Because sometimes you might have such a bad day and you think you have a bad life. That isn't it, you know? So I love to journal. Journaling is one thing. I also like to take long walks. With my parents or just alone, I like to take long walks, just having some lo-fi music in my ears and just having some soothing music, walking. It also helps to de-stress, especially if I'm being sedentary for a long time.
Right.
Walking, pacing, listening to lo-fi music also. I think I also like to touch grass. Going for picnic, just touch grass, read a book, stay off social media, please.
That digital detox is very important. We'll come to that.
Yes.
But so journaling, walking, and then getting in touch with nature. Do these things work? The doctors, do they work?
They do.
Okay.
They do, because as she mentioned, her last statement, that she just likes to get off social media. Sometimes the excess screen time, it just leads to some sort of mental exhaustion.
That's it.
So you getting in touch with nature or you spending time with yourself alone is therapeutic.
How do I get exhausted mentally when I'm watching movies, when I'm strolling Instagram or YouTube?
I don't know, but that's my personal experience. If I use my phone for close to 15 minutes continuously, I just become mentally exhausted.
Wow.
And I just have to put the phone down and do something else. Probably read a book or go out and talk to my siblings or my family. And that alone makes me I feel okay. I begin to feel rejuvenated.
What's the average time an individual is supposed to spend on the screen without getting, mental exhaustion?
I think it varies.
Yeah, it varies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on what factors?
I think it depends on how much you allow people to get in your space. So it depends on what you're using the phone for. It depends on what is on your feed. It depends on the kind of people you interact with. It depends on how you process that information. So I know individuals that say that, they don't like the whole idea of LinkedIn because if you spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, you might actually feel like you're behind. There's so much anxiety. Someone is always winning. And it's not like
I'm happy to announce that I just got this.
And it's not like you don't
all the time
feel happy for others when they make it, but at the back of your mind, how you interact with those posts, you may feel like, hey, am I missing something? Am I doing something that shouldn't be done? So it's how you process that information as well. So it can vary. You can train your mind in a certain way to be able to understand that everybody puts their best foot forward when they are on social media. So sometimes it's not you. Like sometimes consistency can look like nothing much is happening till the very end.
Yeah.
Right.
But something is actually happening. Like you may actually be making a lot of progress, but it's not so visible to you actually get that email or to you get that call, and then you're able to also post on LinkedIn and say, I've got this promotion. So, I mean, life is what they say, life is 90% of how you react to things and 10% of the things that happen to you. So you can as well have your phone, because we do a lot of work online these days. We do a lot of work on our phones.
Absolutely.
So how you interact. You can also put a lot of restrictors on follow people that may negatively affect your mental health. Put in settings that allow positive things to show on your explore page.
Right.
So things like that can help. It controls who gets into your space, because if you don't put those things necessarily, then you go on social media and just allow anything to come into your space.
That's a very important point. And if you're watching us wherever you are or listening to us, this is a podcast powered by the Young Diplomat of Ghana. And we are interested in young people and how we can help, especially navigate the exhaustion that comes with the world these days. We're talking about mindful moments. And I'm coming to my interesting part, burnout. How do you identify burnout in a person, and what are the steps? So you take the identification, you take the steps, and then you take something else. I'll come to that shortly.
Okay, so as I said earlier, burnout is a state of first emotional exhaustion, then it comes to the physical and psychological part. And so how do you identify someone with burnout? Most of the times they become withdrawn. They become emotionally blunt. You talk to them, you say something funny, they don't respond. When they're rather supposed to be sad or something, you rather see them possibly reacting in the opposite manner.
Really? I thought it was always gloomy.
It can be both.
Okay.
Because there's some emotional exhaustion. So you don't expect them to respond to some problem in the usual way.
Okay.
Then, thirdly, they also become very unproductive at work. Some even begin to hate their jobs because they see the job as the source of their problem.
Yeah.
Some have trouble sleeping. You think they would actually want to sleep, but because of that emotional exhaustion, they're unable to sleep. And I think those are a few things I can remember.
And Delali, what do you do when you find yourself?
So it's interesting how Benedicta started, because I think for most of us, we think that identifying burnout would be someone being gloomy. But you can actually find out that some of the happiest people may actually be burnt out. Some of the very depressed people may actually seem very happy and smile all the time. Right? So it's not clear cut that they will be gloomy and sad. So for me, what I like to do is, before we had the podcast session, Benedicta and I were having a conversation, and I was like, it's quite interesting that he asked two doctors, probably with the worst mental health, to talk about burnout. But I think it's also good, because I think there are a lot of things we can learn from having such a highly stressful and demanding job. And even when you're off work, you're not off work because then there's a relative who just became sick. And forgets that you're not on duty, but you need to help out. So for me, one of the things I like to do is to say no. First of all, say no. I think it's something we all need to learn how to do. Sometimes we feel like we need to help people. Of course, we need to help people. But when we are not on duty or it's not our work hours, I think someone will always be there to help. That's why it's an institution. That's why we have, what do we call it, shifts. That's why other people are going to be there. So you need to let people understand that, if I'm not there, it doesn't mean that the work will collapse or you will not get the competency you deserve. There's someone who is as competent as I am and will be there for you. And learn to say no to other people when they want to add on work that you feel that this work is going to stress me out so much that I'll be burnt out?
Not to cut you short, but I work in the media. And before moving to Germany, I had a lot of situations where people will give their work to you, will say that, oh, Adwoa, I'm going here, can you help me with this? Adwoa, today I'm not able to read the news, can you help me out? But then I moved there and I realized the rate at which people say no was alarming. When it started, I was like, why are you not helpful? I felt they were not trying to help me, but I later grew to understand that it is very important to understand what you can do and what you cannot do. To the extent that it gets to a point where what you're doing for others is affecting what your deliverables are. You're not even able to achieve what you have set to do or what your tasks for the day are, just because you want to be a people pleaser or because you want to help people. So that is a very important point. Now, dealing with burnout, have you had burnout in your life ever, and how did you deal with it?
I think that was in first year and final year of uni. Law school beat the hell out of me. First year, COVID hit and it was online. Bad connections. Now grappling with new terms, new materials, and trying so hard to combine all of that with trying to make new friends and all. It was just a mess. And I couldn't really find a way out. But I think having the support system was so instrumental in me getting out of that, because phoning a friend, a parent, someone, a confidant, just telling them that this is how I'm feeling. I do not understand this. School isn't going on well as I planned it to be. Things are just all over the place. Talking to them for hours and hours on end. It's like, okay, draw up a schedule, time management, do this. You can send an email to the lecturer that, oh, this is the concept I do not understand. We had bad network, so could you please go over how could I do this better? It made it lighter.
Did you feel like quitting at some point?
Several times. I can't count the number of times I planned on deferring or quitting, but I'm so grateful for the people around me who always stood by me and believed that I could do it. So that also gave me that positive energy I needed to make sure that I also aced those tests and graduate finally. So during that process, I think, as I earlier stated, it's all up in your head. Oh my God, I have 100 cases to read. I do not understand this concept. Oh no, the bad network, it's all in your head. But after talking to someone, they just break it down so easily for you that, oh, I could just list out these cases. Maybe I could read 10 cases a day, then draw up a schedule, have a Zoom meeting with my lecturer, do this. It breaks it down and makes it so easy than you clouding it all up in your head. That will make you more frustrated. And that made me so unproductive, because I felt that, oh, these 100 cases, I can't read it in a week. It's all piling up. So you prioritize speaking with people and then trying to draw a schedule which you stick to. Where does rest and getting enough sleep come in when you're burnt out? Who will take that from me?
Okay, so I think I'm a fan of that. Because as a medical doctor, you spend hours at work, and the nature of our job involves a lot of walking about, standing. Fine, if you're in the consulting room, that's okay. But let's say if you're on the ward, you are seeing to it that patients get their medications, they get their labs done, they get their investigations done, it would require walking about. And so when I get to work, I'm pretty much exhausted and I just want to rest. And so for me, quality sleep is number one. Then when I wake up, probably watch a movie. I'm not watching a movie to actually watch the movie, but just to do something different, to engage my brain in a different way, because I've spent long hours trying to think about a patient's diagnosis, putting one or two together, what's wrong with this patient, how do I go about it. I just want to shut down that intellectual part for a while and just bring out that creative thing out, then also consider reading a book.
I heard a whisper. That's a very nice thing you do. But I heard a whisper that a lot of medical people in the health profession have a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
Why is that? How is that? Because I'm thinking it's difficult to see a teacher not knowing to teach, but or a doctor. Well, maybe they know how to doctor, but it's just that the toll of what they do gets so much into it. So talk to me about it.
So I think the toll of what we do might actually get to you because there's a lot that happens. I mean, you have an official closing time, but I mean, before you leave, there's an emergency that just rushes in. You can't say, oh, I've closed. It's not an office work or something that you can go home and, let's say, open your laptop to check an email and sort it out. I mean, someone's life depends on you staying back and sacrificing your time. I mean, you just finished breaking bad news to a family. I mean, what is the toll on yourself who went to break that bad news? And you have to move on because there's a next patient. You don't get a few minutes on the job to say that I want to console myself before I continue.
And you recharge your social battery.
So, I mean, it's just so fast-paced and there's a lot of trauma going on around you and you have to be there for people. And I think we are trying to have mental health sessions for healthcare professionals more often and encouraging that for more people. So it's something that happens because of a lot of things that go on around us. It's quite intense. And so I try to put my phone on Do Not Disturb sometimes, at least so I can rest.
I hope you don't get into trouble for that. we have
not
to
during work hours, of course.
Okay, we have to wrap up the conversation, unfortunately. But I think that this is a conversation that we can keep going. If you have questions, like I said earlier, about this particular episode, just drop them in the comment section. Whenever we see that, we can try on our social media pages. We can try, find a way around it and answer them for you. But in wrapping up, what would you say about setting clear boundaries and the impact it has on mental health? So from here.
Yeah, so I think the people you surround yourself with is very key. I don't know, Gen Zs, we love to say, oh, it's so toxic. I don't like the toxic energy. Now I'm cutting you out. It is very necessary to cut out toxic people who do not see anything positive to say or demean your spirit. That would just fuel more burnt out. That will fuel more self-hatred, because we're in a world where there's so much information and even deciphering what is right from what is wrong sometimes can be confusing. So getting the right people, your tribe, who can fuel you in when you are on the low, I think it really helps on that.
Brilliant. And Delali?
For me, I think drawing clear boundaries is always not just about telling people not to do A or B, but it's also telling them what you need. And sometimes you talk to each other, but it might be difficult to actually decipher or get to know what you need to help you mentally. So sometimes drawing those boundaries helps people to understand how they can support you. And I believe that community support is important for each and every one of us. Sometimes become productive members of society and to be able to thrive and have good mental wellness.
Benedicta?
Okay, and as part of the boundaries, I think we also have to involve our mobile phones. We need to set boundaries when it comes to screen time. Let's set personal targets for ourselves that, okay, today I'm spending just an hour. I think an hour is even too much. Maybe 30 minutes.
The boundaries we set
scrolling through social media. Most of us are just watching videos.
Yeah.
Just watching videos, looking up what someone is doing and here and there. What are you doing for yourself? So fine, you can have that fun, but also develop yourself. Rest. Engage in physical activities. Right now, there are lots of things that you can do. I mean, there are lots of social events that you can participate in. There are dance sessions, group workout sessions. You can
go and play.
You can go for hiking, visit a tourist site, like all those real time. I think I would prefer real time conversations with people, than the internet, via social media. I think that one is refreshing.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you, the panelists. This conversation has been intense. It has been a learning curve for me, even sitting here. I hope that you have also learned something, but one thing I want you to take out is that it's important to take that pause when you need to breathe. The world is running, but it's not going anywhere. If you die and leave this world, it's going to move on fine without you. So as much as you can, prioritize you. It's not selfish. It's not doing too much. If you need to, just do it. But just draw a good balance so that you do not miss out on healthy relationships. You do not miss out on meeting and experiencing people at the expense of prioritizing self-care. My name is Adwoa Tenkoramaa Domena, and I've been your host for this episode. Till we meet again next time. Bye-bye.